Hello and welcome to Filling In, and for the next installment of Batman Month, we're going to be talking about things that are sort of Batman, yet at the same time not quite so Batman. In other words, Batman spin-offs. Okay, so with Batman, yeah, he is one of the most popular superheroes ever created, if not the most popular.
By far.
And so there's so many Batman stories to tell that they can't all just contain it all in one book, which is why with the popularity of Detective Comics, in which Batman made his first appearance, then they decided to create Batman, the comic book. And both comics ran for hundreds of issues up until the New 52, and they're still running.
They are.
So, but with two books already, it was thought of, I guess DC must have thought, hey, there's so many Bat stories to tell, why don't we do more Bat books? Mm-hmm. So, okay, yeah, you get the occasional mini-series, one-shots, and other stuff. And so, I'm not sure what the first Batman spin-off book was, but Batman has had multiple Batman spin-off books with Batman in the title. And they all depict various concepts and ideas, characters, storylines, etc. So, let's see, there's Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, which basically looks at Batman's early adventures, I guess, right?
Kind of like year one, sort of.
Yeah, there is a Legends of the Dark Knight series out right now, but it's more like an anthology type thing, right? Because it started as a digital comic, and now it's a print comic, and it has multiple different writers and artists doing an issue.
I haven't really read it. I got like glances of it, but with what you're saying, yeah, it's kind of like that. I think it depends on what writer's working on. It's like kind of different each issue.
Yeah. The previous volume of Legends of the Dark Knight was sort of in continuity, and this volume is sort of out of continuity, which it's an anthology series. So then there's Shadow of the Bat. Not sure what that one was. I know that the first story arc was called The Last Arkham.
Yeah.
Which was sort of like one of the inspirations for the Arkham Asylum game.
Yeah, I think
Batman has himself. Arkham Asylum is about to be put out of commission, and Batman decides to put himself in Arkham Asylum to get it back into commission.
Yes.
So, there's Batman Gotham Knights, Batman Streets of Gotham, Batman the Dark Knight, Batman Incorporated, Batman and Robin, not related to the movie.
Yeah, not related to the movie.
I actually like the previous version of Batman and Robin more so than the current version, which had the previous volume had Dick Grayson as Batman and Damian Wayne as Robin, which seemed, because when Grant Morrison pitched the idea, he had it be like about a kinder Batman, but with an edge to him, and a badass Robin. Which seemed like a interesting turnaround for the dynamic duo.
Right.
And I understand what the current volume of Batman and Robin is doing. It's about a father and son, ultimately. Of course, I do find the current storylines that are going through that comic to be kind of strange. Like, Damian Wayne got killed in Batman Incorporated, spoiler alert. And now Batman, and through the course of the Batman and Robin book, it's sort of become a Batman Brave and the Bold type thing, where Batman teams up with various different heroes, like Batman, and villains too. There's Red Hood, Catwoman, Nightwing, Aquaman, Two-Face.
You teamed up with Two-Face?
Yeah, he teams up with Two-Face apparently.
Wow.
I didn't read it, but that's what I looked up in preview catalogs and stuff. So, and now it's sort of culminated in the one-shot Robin Rises Omega, in which Damian Wayne sort of comes back, I guess.
At
least that's what promotional material has said, right?
It's not like it's the first time it's ever been done, because, Jason Todd has come back, but doing it again just feels like,
Well, so, multiple Batman spin-off books with Batman in the title, but what about Batman comp spin-offs that don't necessarily feature Batman, but feature different characters? I know there's been a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch.
And not only do they explore heroes, but even villains too.
Right, like the villain ones.
No, not just the Villains Month, but I mean, like, villains have had their own series.
Right.
Like Harley Quinn and even Joker.
Poison Ivy.
When did Poison Ivy have her own series?
She has. She has her own series.
A mini-series or like a one-shot?
Both.
I could see that, but I never heard of it or seen it. But, yeah, one of the strangest Batman spin-off comics, but yet also kind of makes sense in a way, the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't read the ongoing Joker series, which only lasted 9 issues. I mean, it's in a trade paperback now.
Yes, it is.
Called The Joker, Clown Prince of Crime.
Mm-hmm.
I think what probably from what I looked up, basically it was just about the Joker getting into conflict with different heroes and villains, and he either gets killed, put in jail, or just escapes.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just basically, I look at it like Joker what-if stories.
Yeah, but I think it only lasted 9 issues because, well,
it was pretty short, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that a supervillain can't get a comic. I mean,
it's just kind of hard to do.
It's hard to do because how do you root for a villain?
You can, I mean,
the Joker is he's a psycho.
Right.
He's a murderer. He's a criminal. He's basically hell on earth if it was one person.
Right.
So, how do you make a series in which you want to see what he's doing next in an ongoing?
It's not really hard to do with a Joker. I can see a lot of people really be interested in a Joker fully based story. Maybe not like an origin story or like, in the past or whatever. Other people would really like to see who Joker was before he was a Joker, and the Red Hood. But I could definitely see him getting his own series.
Yeah, but it's hard trying to depict the ongoing adventures of a murderous psychopath. Right. How do you try to make that worth warranting and ongoing? I mean, it's one thing to do it with a graphic novel, like with Joker there. But see, the difference between the Joker graphic novel and the Joker ongoing is that, well, the Joker graphic novel by Brian Azzarello, that was just, it was actually from the point of view of a henchman of the Joker.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary. I mean, it was about the Joker, but it wasn't from his point of view. It was from the point of view of one of his henchmen. Yeah. So, really, I guess it just depends on how it's done. I mean, not that I would like to see another Joker comic happen.
Yeah.
An ongoing even. It's just, again, it depends on how they do it. If Harley Quinn can get her own series.
Yeah, Joker can.
Which from what I hear, the new Harley Quinn New 52 series is excellent.
Yeah, really
and reading the previous Harley Quinn ongoing here, that was awesome too. Mm-hmm. With Harley Quinn, on the other hand, see, basically with the Harley Quinn ongoing, it was more or less trying to establish Harley Quinn as not just as a villain, but as a character in her own right.
Right. That
she doesn't necessarily have to be tied to the Joker all the time.
Exactly.
I mean, she's got her own friends. She's got her own gang. She's a psychiatrist, for crying out loud. Yeah. Or psychologist. Was it psychiatrist or psychologist? I think it was psychologist.
Psychologist.
Yeah, psychologist. Yeah. She was a psychologist. There have been some differing origins as to how she came about doing that.
Right.
Like, if you read in the Mad Love story, it was depicted that she got her way through college by sleeping with her professors.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the same could be said but that's in the animated continuity. I don't know if the same could be said in her comic book continuity or not.
I think there's at least been one or two, maybe more, where she basically has been where she does sleep with them. But there are others where basically she's incredibly smart and aces through it. There have been others where she kind of hacks and cheats her way through it.
Yeah, basically, I mean, sure, she may resort to cheating, but she's not as dumb as everyone thinks she is.
No.
She's just she has deeply unnerving psychotic issues.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's a fun-loving, easygoing character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that having her branch away from the Joker makes her, as I said, more of a character in her own right.
I really like what they're doing with Harley Quinn now. They're not like I said, they're not making her a solely based Joker character. They're branching out to her own character with her own story, her own origins, and her own lifestyle. I really like the Suicide Squad Harley, because to me, she's kind of like a total badass.
Yeah, even though it was questionable at first why they decided to put her in a dominatrix-like outfit.
Yeah, I can see that, but still.
I mean, okay, I can see why they decided to alter her origin slightly by throwing her in the same vat of chemicals that the Joker was in.
Right.
Giving an explanation as to why her hair was dyed a certain color. Certain colors, really.
Yeah.
Actually, from what I saw in the Suicide Squad, it was blue and red, but now in her Harley Quinn ongoing, judging from previews that I've seen, it's black and red.
Yeah, it's black and red now. I think she dyed it. I don't know. I haven't read the New 52 Harley Quinn.
Yeah, neither have I. But I hear good things about it.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I hope it's something that lasts a good long while.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So that's so far as we can say about the villains, but what about like other characters now? There's Nightwing, there's even Robin, Red Robin.
Yum.
Yeah, I had to put that in somehow. And Batgirl.
Batwoman.
Batwoman. The Outsiders. Yeah, technically The Outsiders is still kind of a Batman book. It does go through various different title changes.
Right.
First it's Batman and the Outsiders, then it's the Outsiders, then it's Batman and the Outsiders again.
Yep.
I mean, it's all about Batman trying to form his own team because he hates how the Justice League operates.
Right. I mean, there has been, when you think about it, there has been groups that have came from Batman and then branched out to their own thing. Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, the Birds of Prey, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I only read like the Brightest Day series, the Brightest Day Birds of Prey series. I mean, which had Gail Simone, which one of the comics that she's most famous for.
Good. Sorry.
And it wasn't just a Bat book per se. I mean, yes, it had Oracle and Huntress, but it also branched out to basically all female, a lot of female characters. And when the Brightest Day series was launched, it had its first male member, Hawk, from Hawk and Dove.
I didn't know they had a male member in Birds of Prey.
Well, I mean, they had male supporting characters like the Ted Kord, Blue Beetle, Nightwing.
They were just there or like temporarily rejoined?
They were sort of there. I don't know, I didn't necessarily read it, but from what I looked up, yeah. But Hawk became its first official male member of the team with the Brightest Day era. And I don't know if the same can be said with the New 52 series, but yeah.
I've read the New 52 series a little bit.
It was interesting that they made Poison Ivy a member.
Yeah, I really like that.
But then they had her not be a Birds of Prey anymore.
Yeah, she came back to her villain self.
Yeah. Once a villain, always a villain, or... No, that's not necessarily true.
Well, we'll get to that. I mean, look at Catwoman, but...
Yeah. And yeah, Batgirl. There have been multiple volumes of that.
Absolutely.
The funny thing is, despite the fact that Barbara Gordon is regarded as the most popular of the Batgirls, she didn't receive her own Batgirl series, her own Batgirl ongoing, until the New 52.
Time. Yeah.
I mean, she had mini-series and other stuff, but never her own ongoing. The first Batgirl to receive her own ongoing was Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not really a fan of Cassandra Cain.
I've read a couple of comics that feature her, and it's okay. And it's just a shame. I mean, it would be nice to see her again in New 52.
Yeah, I think so. It would be nice.
Even under her new code name, Black Bat.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I keep hearing that she may appear at some point. I don't know. Well, hey, if Stephanie Brown has managed to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, we'll get to her in a bit.
Right.
But Cassandra Cain probably had the longest running Batgirl series. It ran for 80 issues?
Yeah, I think
or more.
Isn't it still going somewhere or something?
What?
Isn't it somewhere? Isn't she in Batman series right now?
I don't know for sure. But I do know that Cassandra Cain was the first character to bear the Batgirl mantle and have her. Well, I mean, the first character to bear the Batgirl mantle to have her own Batgirl comic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she had one volume which ran for some odd issues, like maybe 80 issues or more.
Yeah.
And then she had a mini series
Mm-hmm.
in which she was trying to redeem herself, and then ultimately gave up the Batgirl mantle to Stephanie Brown.
Right.
And Stephanie Brown, that Batgirl comic was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It was awesome. I mean, for the characterization of Stephanie Brown, how she was carrying on a legacy, all because she had gone under a different alias before. I mean, not just spoiler, but she also became the first female Robin in continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting Carrie Kelly was Robin in Dark Knight Returns, and
She's technically the very first Robin, but yeah, I get her coming out of a different universe and all that.
yeah, but Stephanie Brown was the first in continuity female Robin. Though I'm not sure if that's still the case with New 52, but that's beside the point.
Right.
But with Batgirl, it was like, I don't know. I mean, I've read a few issues, and I read the trade paperback collecting the final issues of her series, but it was awesome in the way that she wasn't just being another person to carry the mantle. Nor was she just being a character or a hero in her own right. She was just, well, I guess more or less trying to live out her life however she could.
Yeah.
She had multiple things going on with her. She had college. She had living with her mom and taking care of her mom.
So basically, Peter Parker.
Or you could say Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Veronica Mars.
Right.
Yeah. But it was interesting the way they did it, and I liked the Batgirl outfit.
Yeah, I did too.
It was sort of modernized, yet sort of really, really, really just...
Which I want to question... Well, I mean, go ahead, but I want to question about the Batgirl cartoon in a little bit.
Yeah, it was armored, but yet also it was armored and modern.
Right.
So, but it's a shame that it got canceled with the New 52 happening, and Stephanie Brown hadn't made an appearance since then up until, from what I heard, she's back in the new Batman Eternal series.
Yes.
So it's good to see her again.
My favorite Batgirl, I mean...
But, oh, sorry.
My favorite Batgirl, without a doubt, is Barbara Gordon. I mean, I love Barbara Gordon. Yes, I have a crush on her, but I mean, I just feel like her connection with Batgirl and every story involving her is very deeply moving. I mean,
and it's great that they managed to take advantage of this with the New 52 Batgirl.
That's what, I personally talking about the costume with Tiffany Brown's, with Barbara Gordon. I personally love her New 52 costume. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
It's updating a classic outfit.
Right.
Making it like with Stephanie. It's like a mixture of the Stephanie Brown outfit, but also it's mixing the armored and modernness of the Stephanie Brown outfit with the classic Barbara Gordon outfit.
Exactly.
Which was great. And there was some controversy at first with Barbara Gordon becoming Batgirl again.
Right.
You know, she's no longer Oracle. She's now Batgirl again. Suddenly she can miraculously walk. But they managed to explain it. They managed to explain it, saying that she'd gone through some intense physical therapy,
Which makes sense.
And she is dealing with post-traumatic stress brought on by the events of the Killing Joke.
Right.
And it's great that they address it. I'm glad that they don't simply whitewash it or ignore it or anything.
Yeah, Bright's Day.
Yeah, so, no, that's Flashpoint New 52.
Right.
Yeah. But, and it's, not to get too much into detail over it, but at one point they fired Gail Simone off the comic for some reason. She just got it through email, and then she got back on the title,
which I'm glad for.
With major fan backlash, and I'm glad that Gail Simone's writing it. Mm-hmm. And now I'm hearing that Gail Simone's leaving the title again.
Unfortunately, yeah, I don't understand why either, but it's just...
What's the reason this time?
I don't know. No one. I don't think anyone knows.
Well, regardless, it's still a good series.
It is. It's still a good series.
It's really excellent writing.
Mm-hmm. The artwork is very...
Oh yeah, very good artwork.
Very good artwork.
Yes, definitely.
I'm not crazy about the new costume that came out.
Yeah, I saw the new costume. It's simplistic, yet okay, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to make of it. I guess we'll find out when finally happens. But
Right.
anyway, so yeah, speaking of a female character, a female back character getting her own series and yet becoming a character in her own right, Catwoman.
Yep.
Yeah, Catwoman has had a long, complicated history.
Very long, complicated.
She started out as a villain, but over the course of her history, she's become more of an anti-hero.
More anti-villain, anti-hero.
An anti-hero who straddles the lines between good and evil.
Right.
She's not really a bad person. She's just
No.
she's just someone trying to get by.
Right. I mean, she started off as a thief, sort of a villain for Batman or other Bat characters. Then she
was just I think it's kind of speaking about how some men perceive women when they're in relationships with them.
Yeah.
You know, like how they're always messing with their heads or saying. Not to say that all women are like that. No,
Right.
no. But I think it's just trying to exaggerate that.
Yeah.
Trying to poke fun at it.
Didn't she join the Legion of Doom at some point?
I think it was more or less the Secret Society of Supervillains.
Yeah.
We had actually just watched an episode of the 1960s Batman show on IFC.
Yeah,
it's
we
just,
did.
It's just funny the way they depict Catwoman and Batman together in that show. She's like deliberately toying with him, but then she's like, "Oh, Batman, I love you so."
It's really fun. I mean,
I know it's campy and everything, but it's
Yeah.
just so funny and actually pretty enjoyable.
it is pretty enjoyable. I mean, when you look at it now, seeing how Batman is nowadays, and you watch the Adam West Batman, you can't help but laugh and go, and the space palm.
Yeah.
But it's still very enjoyable. I mean, the entire series is coming out in November for the Adam West Batman, which I look forward to. I mean, it just makes you think. If we didn't have the Batman we have now, with the much darker tone and everything, with the cheesy Batman with the punch lines and punching with the words coming out still gone on, even in comic form.
And some of the best Catwoman comics I've read include, and this is why they're on the couch here, the Ed Brubaker Catwoman series, which Ed Brubaker managed to turn. I mean, it's obvious that it's become obvious that Catwoman can be a character in her own right.
Yeah,
she can
absolutely.
hold her own. But with Ed Brubaker, it's like he made her a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
Just not only just him and Darwin Cook and all the others who worked on the Catwoman series that ran from like 2001 to about maybe 2006, 2007.
Yeah, sounds right.
They managed to turn they modernized the outfit, making it more armory leather type thing, and the goggles. Oh yeah, the goggles. Yeah, I love the goggles. And they're not just portraying her in a more sexualized manner, but they're really just more or less up in the ante, I guess.
I mean, I understand why. I mean, taking for example Arkham City Catwoman.
Yeah.
I mean, Catwoman was a very how should I put this? I guess it's really kind of a sexualized character, but in a good way. I mean, she
uses it to her advantage.
She uses it to her advantage. She dissuades Batman. She dissuades other villains and stuff, even females. It's not really a bad thing. People sometimes take it as a bad thing, like, oh well, Catwoman is, shouldn't wear this. Like it's not, it's not over the top. She uses it for her advantage. It has a complicated relationship with Batman, as well with herself and other people that are in her life.
Yeah, because she's just trying to get by.
Yeah, trying to get by.
She grew up in a very bad part of Gotham City, and it's been established in one story or continuity or another that she may or may not be the daughter of Carmine Falcone,
right?
The illegitimate daughter. And there's that Catwoman When in Rome comic, which was really good.
It's really good.
It was filling in some gap between Batman Long Halloween and Batman Dark Victory, but it was also it was like basically Catwoman trying to find herself in her early years.
What's interesting is, like the Batman Ultimate Universes, there's actually Catwoman Ultimate Universes. Like for instance, there's some where Catwoman marries Batman. They have a baby together.
I think that was Earth 2.
I think that was for Earth 2, I think.
And yeah, there was that Catwoman Guardian of Gotham.
Yeah.
I only saw a review of it online from atop the fourth wall, but oh man, was that bad. It was... For one, yeah, Catwoman has like a really, really questionable outfit. Oh yeah, and it also has
How bad's the outfit we talking?
I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to see it.
Like worse than Arkham City, or
Arkham City was fine.
well, no. What I'm saying is,
Oh yeah. You're saying yeah. I get what you mean. I think it's got like a corset or something. That thing that
the
women
corset,
wear around.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Around the midsection, I guess. I don't know if it's called a corset or what, but it's one of those things that makes it hard for women to breathe when they're wearing it. Yeah. And of course, the gigantic boobs. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the artist, but he's known for making some very questionable anatomy for women.
Worse than... Well, go ahead, sorry.
And he apparently also got giant boob socks for Catwoman when she had her series in the 90s.
Wow.
It's just... And Bruce Wayne is the villain.
What?
Yeah, Bruce Wayne as Batman is the villain. And he's a deranged psychopath, and also the killer of Catwoman's parents, which got her to become Catwoman.
Are you sure Frank Miller didn't do this work?
No, it's not Frank Miller.
Wow.
And I already talked about this when CJ and I did our bit on Batman origin stories, but you know what? I have to say this again, just to repeat myself. The whole Catwoman being a prostitute thing, does it really matter?
Not really, no.
They've tried to sexualize Catwoman before. Really, does having her established as a prostitute, whether she really was a prostitute or not, does it really matter?
Not really, no.
No. So why still make a big deal out of it though?
I mean, I get where people are coming from, like where Catwoman is so sexualized and everything. But I mean, don't just look at her. Look at Gotham City in general. You look at all these characters who live in this really bad city, and all come from like different sort of dark past. From let's say, Catwoman being a prostitute. You got Joker being a criminal tug, and then of course becoming a psychopath.
Again, you don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, we don't know if that's true or not. I mean, you got Two-Face being a lawyer and then basically
having issues since he was a kid.
Right. You got Killer Croc. You got all this.
Yeah. So Gotham City is a dark, dingy place.
Yeah.
Almost hell on earth, even. So you got to do what you can to survive. I mean, and it's been established in one continuity or another that Catwoman wasn't a prostitute. She was merely pretending to be one to infiltrate a criminal organization. But again, I don't really think it matters because it kind of speaks about Catwoman's character, that she's doing what she can to survive, and that Gotham City is a terrible place and you're doing whatever you can to survive in there. So, and
I don't think she's always been a prostitute in every established store she's in, right?
Yeah. And speaking of Gotham City, a story about Gotham City, my favorite Batman spinoff, Gotham Central. This is without a doubt probably one of the. It's not only my favorite Batman spinoff, and it's also one of my favorite comics in general. And it's probably one of the best Batman comics, one of the best comics, really. The thing about the Gotham City Police is that, I mean, they've shown to be in some stories they're shown to be effective, in some stories they're shown to be idiots.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one common trend with the Burton and Schumacher Batman film series, it shows the complete degradation of the GCPD as a substantial police department.
Yeah.
I mean, in Tim Burton's Batman, in the 1989 Batman movie, they're shown as somewhat effective, yet also corrupt with some members like Lieutenant Eckhart.
Yeah.
In Batman Returns, they're good allies of Batman, but they're also able to handle things in their own way.
Mm.
But then when Schumacher took over with Forever and Batman and Robin, they're shown as complete idiots, that they're entirely dependent on Batman.
Kind of like the Adam West Batman, unfortunately.
Well, with the Adam West Batman, it made sense because it was campy and light and fun.
Yeah.
And all the characters were kind of like that. But with Schumacher's movies, it's like they're so dependent on Batman that they allow their city to just run rampant with crime. Like, they're really ineffective at stopping common criminals from stealing a TV.
We can't do anything. We have to call Batman.
Yeah. Even Commissioner Gordon, and no offense to Pat Hingle, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
But once when Commissioner Gordon Forever and Batman Robin, he was just shameful.
He was.
I mean, especially
that was not the Gordon we know and love.
Especially in Batman and Robin, they show. I mean, he gets seduced by Poison Ivy, and it's so creepy.
It really is.
And the way he just lingers after her is like. Oh,
they made that movie was so bad. But let's not get into that. We'll be here all day.
But thankfully, they managed. This got rectified in the Gotham Central series.
Yeah.
For one, it showed how the Gotham Central, how the Gotham Police Department can be effective in handling even the superpower villains in Gotham City without the need of Batman. Batman may occasionally appear every now and then, but they're not entirely dependent on him. In fact, one cop, who was one of my favorite characters in the series, Marcus Driver, he tries to prove that GCPD, sure, Gotham needs Batman, but that doesn't mean that the police department needs Batman necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to try to handle things in their own way, and it's not shown as a Law and Order Gotham City knockoff or anything.
Yeah,
like that. No.
Pay for that.
And this is a description from one of the trade paperbacks at the back from the Baltimore City paper. It says, hands down one of the best DC Comics titles in years. Gotham Central is no stale Law and Order imitation. If anything, it's more like a season of The Wire. Wow. I mean, I never watched The Wire, and I want to, but just making a comparison of that is beyond amazing.
Yeah.
It's just Gotham. It shows complete three-dimensional police characters who all have. They're not just depicting them on the job. It also depicts their personal lives and how things affect both their personal and professional lives. Like Renee Montoya, one of the most famous storylines in Gotham Central was the one in which Renee Montoya is outed as a lesbian. Apparently, Two-Face was obsessed with her and wanted to have her fall in love with him.
Right.
So he takes a picture of her kissing her girlfriend, and then has her humiliated at her job and put in the picture in the GCPD headquarters, and she tries to get on with her life, but then Two-Face ends up making things worse by kidnapping her and trying to force her to love him, but she won't. And if anything, she only felt sorry for Two-Face, however briefly that was.
Do you think that the new Gotham series will somewhat be based off Gotham Central?
Well, the thing of it is, the Birds of Prey TV show had. I didn't exactly watch it, but I heard it was bad.
Yeah, pretty bad.
And because of how bad Birds of Prey was, it caused some DC shows, even some Batman shows, to not ever get made. And apparently, I think Ed Brubaker, one of the Gotham Central writers, he said that if there wasn't such a moratorium for Batman shows, Gotham Central would have been set up at the WB in a heartbeat.
Oh wow!
So it could have worked, and I think Gotham is not necessarily. I mean, yeah, it is taking the concept of Gotham Central being more about the Gotham Police Department than about Batman.
Right.
But it's also focusing on James Gordon and Harvey Bullock. And that's another thing. When people think the GCPD, they think Harvey Bullock or Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
But there's
more
more
than that.
there's more cops than them. Again, there's Renee Montoya, there's Crispus Allen, there's other characters that were depicted in the Gotham Central series like Marcus Driver and several others.
Yeah.
And there's even a storyline about the girl who operates the bat signal.
Huh.
Yeah. What it means for her to operate the bat signal at times. And, oh, and yeah, there's also Maggie Sawyer,
Right.
who has served on the police departments on both the Metropolis and Gotham. Yeah.
There's Brandon. Remember him?
Oh yeah, Officer Brandon, but he was like from he was like from Batman's early years.
Right.
And there's Arnold Flass, but again from Batman's early years, and Commissioner Loeb, again Batman's early years.
Right.
But oh, and yeah, Sarah Essen.
Mhm.
Both from Batman's early years and from later years.
Right.
Then she got killed by the Joker
Yeah,
in the
that's
No
right.
Man's Land storyline. But
What we want to read.
But yeah, again, Gotham Central expands on the whole police department thing for the GCPD. And and there's also an interesting character, Jim Corrigan. You may know him as the human alias of the Spectre.
Yeah, yeah.
But see, the Jim Corrigan in Gotham Central, not exactly related to the Spectre, even though there was an issue of Gotham Central that depicted Jim Corrigan, and there's a silhouette behind him, and it said on the issue cover, "The Spectre of Death." I think that was just more or less trying to make a pun on the whole thing.
I think so too, yeah.
So yeah, but Jim Corrigan, he was a corrupt, and he's played a crucial part in some storylines. There's one in which Crispus Allen had killed a villain known as the Black Spider, and Jim Corrigan took the bullet and was about to sell it on an auction.
Yeah.
And Renee Montoya knew that Jim Corrigan had something to do with it, since Jim Corrigan was a crime scene investigator, or CSI, and she knew that he stole it. And if Crispus Allen didn't get his name cleared, he was going to get removed from the force or worse.
Oh, wow.
So Renee Montoya went over to Jim Corrigan and beat the crap out of him in order to get the thing that she needed to clear Crispus Allen's name. But this also jeopardized an investigation from Internal Affairs. They were investigating Jim Corrigan because a lot of people knew that Jim Corrigan was corrupt.
Right.
And they were just about to break the case, but when Renee Montoya came in and beat the crap out of him, it pretty much jeopardized the investigation. This got Jim Corrigan in the clear.
Mhm.
So this didn't really serve well for anybody, because near the end of the series, Crispus Allen gets killed by Jim Corrigan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this causes Renee Montoya to leave the force when nothing was done about making Jim Corrigan pay. Oh, Jokers and there was also this other storyline called Jokers and Madmen, in which the Joker, he's more or less just sniping people around Christmas time, just for the fun of it.
God, that seems like Joker.
This is like one of the strangest, most outlandish, yet probably one of the best Joker stories ever done. And yeah, there was even a scene depicted in the comic in which Joker, he's in an interrogation room, and this cop, he's trying to beat the crap out of the Joker, but then the tables turn on him, and the Joker beats the guy to death with a phone book.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know how heavy those things can be.
Yeah.
Oh, the poor. Well, he first gets his neck crushed or karate chopped or something, and then the guy's head is on the table, and Joker just beats him with a phone book.
So it's pretty bloody.
Yeah, and the guy dies.
Of course, yeah.
But oh boy, and see the way that Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka did it was that they were to. It's like they did it how the way a police department operates. There's a day shift and a night shift.
Right.
I'm not sure who got which, but one writer does one shift, and the other one does the other shift.
Very interesting.
So it's an interesting way, and the artwork is great too.
Right.
It's just a shame that it didn't get to last longer than it actually did. It was an interesting idea.
How long did it last? One or two issues, or?
It lasted 40 issues.
Cool.
The reason why it lasted that long was, see, despite a devoted fan base and acclaim, and even won several awards, including an Eisner and Harvey Award, it was a commercial failure. It didn't sell well. It barely made the top 100 charts or whatever.
Wow.
And eventually, but that's not what ultimately got it canceled. From what I looked up, Ed Brubaker had left the series after the Dead Robin storyline, and Greg Rucka felt that he couldn't continue without Ed Brubaker, because they both started it together,
Right.
so it wouldn't feel right to continue it without him. So they let it end.
Wow.
And yeah, so I kind of wish. If they were to ever bring back Gotham Central as a comic, I don't think it could be done without Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka.
Yeah.
If they're ever going to bring back Brubaker and Rucka. Those were the only guys that managed to make it effective. They made it work. I can't see anyone else doing it.
I couldn't either. I mean, they did a series for that long together. I mean, they should be the ones to continue it.
Yeah. And so we'll get to a bit more about that later. But then, and here's another famous female Bat character, Batwoman. Now the thing about Batwoman is the new version of Batwoman debuted in '52. I didn't read '52, but I heard good things. And see, it was during the time when Batman was apparently believed to be dead. Batwoman headlined Detective Comics.
Right.
And Batwoman, see, she's a character who, takes on a bat alias, but she's also the daughter of a military lieutenant, colonel,
Yes.
something like that.
Colonel, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and she's also a lesbian.
Yep.
But the thing of it is, they don't necessarily make her lesbianism the main focus of the series.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I understand if you got some traits of a character, but that doesn't mean it should overshadow everything about it.
Right.
So, and yes, it does depict how her being a superhero affects her personal life, not just things going on with her family and friends, but also her relationships too.
Yep.
It's even there in the Batwoman Elegy storyline. There in one of the first parts, it shows her on a date with her girlfriend, but they get into an argument about what's going on with Batwoman's life, with Kate, and eventually it leads to their breakup.
Right.
Yeah, but then later on in not only this, but in also the Batwoman solo series, which was really good to a point, and I'll get to that in a bit. Batwoman finds a relationship with Maggie Sawyer.
Right.
And it was depicted as really good. And what got me to stop reading it was once when they took off the creative team behind it, J.H. Williams and W. Hayden Blackman. Greg Rucka set the tone for what a Batwoman series could be like. J.H. Williams managed to continue that and expand on that even further. But once when they got taken off, I didn't feel like continuing to read it. Because apparently, from what I heard, DC has decided not to have characters depicted as married anymore.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And there was an issue of Batwoman in which Batwoman proposes to Maggie Sawyer. And you think, we're going to get a big wedding storyline out of this. But nope. They're together and sort of engaged, but they're not getting married.
It's just...
It's this whole thing that DC has with the anti-marriage thing.
You have gay characters, lesbian characters, transgender characters now. For some reason,
you can't have marriage.
Yeah, you can't marry. That's taboo.
Yeah, they say that marriage, it detracts from the focus of a character, and I sort of get that, but at the same time, it shows that the characters are willing to grow. They're able to evolve. They're able to have realistic traits.
You see what Marvel is doing with their characters and everything. And, it's gonna be hard to adapt to it.
Yeah,
And it can be like, well,
but just the way that they try to erase it from existence, literally erase it from existence, is just so
Yeah,
insulting. Looking at you one more day.
yeah,
Though in Avengers vs. X-Men, it kind of made sense why Black Panther divorced Storm, because
absolutely.
Storm sided with the X-Men, and some of the X-Men got possessed by the Phoenix, and the Phoenix Five kind of destroyed Wakanda a bit.
yeah.
So yeah, that made
Looking at you, Namor.
that kind of made sense.
Yeah,
But the things that like happened with One More Day, no.
yeah.
And but that's not to say that, I don't know. It would have been nice to have seen a big wedding storyline for Batwoman. It for one, again, not only would it show her developing as a character more, having more realistic traits to her,
Right.
not just her being a lesbian, but also, and there has been a gay wedding featured in comics. There was that whole thing that went on with Astonishing X-Men between North Star and his boyfriend.
Yeah.
Which was, wow, I never saw that coming. But with Batwoman, it'd be sort of different, not just because it's two women getting married, but also it's DC doing this.
I think
and it shows how more that Batwoman is developing as a character.
Yeah.
But again, we may never see that happen.
I hope somewhere down the line we do, because this whole marriage thing, and I know you gotta agree, it's just completely ridiculous. I don't see the point of making marriage in comics taboo where it can't happen.
Yeah.
I've been reading Animal Man, and they're married, and they're married, and it's part of the story and everything, but it doesn't take away from Animal Man's character. It's nothing. It helps them.
It shows how they're like other people. They're not just these godlike characters. They're people with their own problems and other things. So
Aquaman's married to
Mara.
Mara, thank you.
Though they've sort of retconned that, yet that kind of makes sense why.
Right.
They're not exactly married, but they're still ruling Atlantis and in love together.
Well,
so
that's a new
I think it's become more of a moot point now.
Right. Well, that's New 52, though, right?
Well, sort of, yeah. It's kind of complicated, but
yeah, it's complicated, and that's fine. But they have been married. It doesn't really take away from anything. Again, it helps.
so if they're able to have that, then they could at least have Batwoman get married.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that they should. I'm not saying that they should focus on. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this when I say this, but I'm not saying that they should just have them get married just for gay rights activism or anything like that. No, just have it in there again to show her further character development. How they're adding more realism to it. How they're not making this character so godlike, so up on a pedestal or anything like that. They're just making them more relatable and realistic.
It would not be the first time it isn't like this. Marvel and DC, back in at least seven.
Well, we're kind of straying from the point here.
I know, but I'm just gonna make it real quick to make a point to the marriage thing. It was not the first time they brought up issues in the public, in the comics. They brought up drugs. They brought up, everything that's going on in the world and stuff. You got gay rights going on in the world, and there's no reason they can't put that in the comic and sort of like what they did with the drugs for with Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and the issue. I can't remember what issue it was for Spider-Man that brought up drugs and stuff. It's not the first time they did something like this.
And believe it or not, whether you believe it or not, yes, Batwoman as a character has sort of become. She's also the first gay character to headline her own series.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that DC is just doing that just to have a gay character have his or her own series. No,
Exactly, yeah.
no. and I'm not saying that she's becoming a champion for gay rights activism. No, she's just like some of the other characters, some of the other Bat characters that we talked about. Like, in a way, she's kind of a lot like Catwoman in the sense that she's just a person trying to live her life, trying to make something better for herself, and she feels that dressing up like a superhero and fighting bad guys helps her feel a sense of completeness and everything. And plus, it also got the whole Alice thing going on here. Like, one of the storylines, both in the elegy, one of the parts of the elegy and in the Batwoman ongoing, is that Batwoman has a conflict going on with her sister. See, like Batwoman's family, when she was young, she had a twin sister. She has a sister.
Right.
When they were young, Batwoman's sister got kidnapped, and she thought she was dead, but it turns out that she's alive, and now she's a criminal, quoting Alice in Wonderland.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's called Alice, and it's also how she's trying to save her sister. Again, that's really compelling. I like that.
Yeah.
And I think this storyline even won a GLAAD Media Award or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
I think.
Now, there's taking on the person of Alice in Wonderland.
It did get a GLAAD Media Award. So
does that tie in with Mad Hatter, or
no relation to Mad Hatter so far from what I've seen.
That bites.
But it's really good, and I hope that maybe somewhere down along the line they'll bring the whole marriage thing in for Batwoman, not just to shoehorn in, just to satisfy people who want to see more gay rights activism, but just to have her develop more as a character. And I know I'm repeating myself with that, but still, the fact remains. Now, here's another unique Batman spin-off book. It's not quite a Batman spin-off book, but it's more like a joint thing.
Okay.
Superman Batman, which
Yeah.
has now been, it's been canceled, but it's now a Batman Superman.
Right.
But see, with the upcoming Batman Superman movie happening, there are people who wonder, how do you get, and it's even been spoofed on that Batman series.
Yeah.
Yeah. How and why would you get Batman and Superman to team up together? It's been done before, for one. Not just in a series completely devoted to the idea.
Yeah.
But
it's been done numerous times.
It's been done numerous times in comics, in film, in TV shows.
Yep.
And see, it's different from Justice League, because Justice League is about an ensemble of characters. Right. But with Batman and Superman, you got the world's mightiest, strongest superhero.
With the world's greatest detective.
And the world's greatest detective.
I mean, when you think about it, when you look at any other superhero team up, whether it's a group or two or whatever, when you look at Batman and Superman, they are the world's finest and greatest team up ever in the comics.
Because Superman, he can be way too idealistic and somewhat naive.
Yeah, he's a boy
in a sense that makes sense, because he was raised to believe in truth, justice, and the American way, and that everyone should be living in prosperity and stuff. Batman, on the other hand, he lost his parents when he was young.
Right.
And Superman did too, but his whole planet blew up.
Yeah.
Batman saw his parents die right in front of him.
Right.
And Batman has grown to become cynical and dark and brooding. How you get these two together by, for one, not just taking in characters from their rogues gallery and having them team up together, but having them be put in situations that only these two can handle. Again, with the Public Enemy storyline, it was that an asteroid from the remnants of Krypton was heading towards Earth and going to crash, and they team up together to try to stop it from happening. And it was funny the way it happened. They had a Batman Superman robot.
I know.
But they fight Lex Luthor,
Yep.
and even Lex Luthor's own cadre or group of heroes fighting him. And then ultimately they had Hawkman and Shazam, or Captain Marvel as he was known at the time.
Basically, summing it up, what ended up happening is Lex Luthor gets crazy from kryptonite injection, spoiler alert,
Mhm.
and somehow, for whatever reason, believe that Superman and Batman are the cause of this asteroid going to destroy Earth. So he sorts out this ridiculous award, ransom award or whatever, for the capture of Batman and Superman, dead or alive.
Well, actually, it was Superman.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But since Batman was helping him.
Well, Batman was more or less being an accomplice. The bounty wasn't
Right.
for Batman; it was just for Superman. And then how do you continue on from that? I mean, you had this one unique scenario that only these two can handle, but then you got Supergirl.
Yep.
Yeah, Superman Batman managed to reintroduce Supergirl, the original version, into Superman's life. And it was interesting how they handled that
Yeah,
in
it
the
was.
comic by having her. I mean, for one, she's I don't know, she's a teenager or she's in her 20s.
She's like
She's new to Earth,
Yeah.
more so than Clark Kent. Well, I mean, when Superman came to Earth
He was
as a
a baby.
baby, yeah, he was raised there.
Yeah, right there.
But Supergirl, she's already a fully grown woman. She knows
Yeah.
what Kryptonian culture and
Yeah, she knows
life
what
is like on Krypton.
Yeah, she's much older and she didn't.
She
get
comes
raised
to this
on-
strange new world
Exactly.
and not sure what to do. She's trying to find herself, and Superman and Batman are both trying to show ways in which she can do that.
And Wonder Woman.
And Wonder Woman too. It's kind of weird how that gets worked in, because Wonder Woman straight up just kidnaps
I know.
Supergirl, but it's worked in pretty nicely. And then of course Darkseid comes
Yeah,
in.
Darkseid takes in and brainwashed her.
Yeah, but then they all manage to save the day, and
Yep.
and so yeah, if they manage to work that in comics, you know, having a whole series devoted to it,
Yeah.
running for about what 80 some issues.
Much more than that.
Well, no, the Superman Batman series, it ran for like what 80 some issues, like 82, 83, I think, right?
Yeah, but I know where you're getting at. But I think
If
it's much more
they're
than that.
able to pull off a comic that ran for about 8 years, if they're able to do that, if they've been able to do it before, who's to say they can't do it in film, right?
Exactly.
And if they're able to do a whole comic devoted for Gotham, for the Gotham cops, for 40 issues, who's to say it can't work for the upcoming TV show Gotham? I'm looking forward to that.
I am too.
I mean, and you know what? You know who deserves their own Batman spin-off comic? And I'll get to that in a bit. But first off, I want to say, here's a Batman spin-off comic that I really don't like: Red Hood and the Outlaws.
I knew it was coming.
I know I'm probably another person that's just ranting and raving about it, and I'm not. I know I'm not the only one, but when I first read Red Hood and the Outlaws, and I thought a Red Hood series was great. I thought it was a unique idea, because it could have, Jason Todd's the Red Hood, and he's carrying out his vigilante activities, but then they decided to make it a team book,
Right.
and I think that's the root of the problem. Not just the whole
part of the problem.
That's part of the problem, yes, but it's also the root of it too. See, not just the whole Starfire thing. Yes, there's that whole Starfire thing going on. They sexualize her more than ever, and they try to retcon it, and how they do it is really stupid. And,
Yep.
and then there's Arsenal.
Yeah,
Oh,
Trucker Arsenal.
the trucker hat and the jokes. Arsenal, you are not Deadpool. Okay? No.
I know, they try to make him Deadpool so hard.
The thing of it is, what reason does Red Hood have to be teaming up with Arsenal and Starfire?
Arsenal, I can understand. Starfire, it's like, why?
I could sort of understand with Arsenal, in the sense that if it were following the continuity from before,
Right.
that he lost his daughter, he lost his mind, he got addicted to,
Heroin?
I think, it was heroin. Yeah, he got addicted to heroin again. I can understand that. But in the New 52 continuity, he never had a daughter. He's in prison for some reason.
Right.
And they're all just idiots.
Yep.
It's basically the Three Stooges of comics. Not to say the Three Stooges are bad. I like them. They're funny, but the three of them are just idiots together.
I mean,
They got no reason to be together. They got no reason for it. Why is this thing still going? It's in like, what,
32?
issue 30 something right now?
Yeah,
and had
32,
2
32.
annuals? How is this still going? And yet other comics, other better Batman comics have been canceled or ended. Batman Incorporated, I can understand, ended at 12 issues because that's how long Grant Morrison intended it for a run. But then Batwing gets canceled.
no,
and
it's still going, isn't it?
No, Batwing is getting canceled at issue 34.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but see, even Batwing got kind of messed up after a while because
Yeah.
after issue 19, they decided to make Batwing now about Lucius Fox's kid.
Yeah.
I didn't read the issue in which David Zabimbe says, "Hey, I'm not going to be Batwing anymore. You can be Batwing now." But it really,
It's really weird.
I'm not going to get too much into that because I didn't read it. I
read
didn't
it
read
either.
it that much, but
I mean,
when I first read Red Hood and the Outlaws, though, it was just boring. It was just boring. But looking at it again, I could see so many problems with it.
yeah, I mean, I had such high hopes for Red Hood and Outlaws. I'm a huge fan of Jason Todd Red Hood, and I really wanted to read something new about him or kind of get caught up with the character. And I thought that, Red Hood and the Outlaws would do that. And at first, I was really into it. But looking back at it,
It's worse than it actually was.
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
They try to make Starfire so sexually provocative in every
Horfire.
single way possible. Arsenal's a complete idiot who's not funny. kind of making my jokes seem a little funny by comparison. And Jason Todd, he's just sort of like a one note. Like he's just simply there. It's less about him and more about the other characters,
which is really sad.
which makes sense because it's a team book. But
It's a team
honestly,
book,
Wolverine and the X-Men. Now that show and the comic was about both the X-Men and Wolverine, hence the title. But Red Hood and the Outlaws, Red Hood was more or less a one-note character.
Yeah, he's just there.
And Arsenal and Starfire were just there for the ride.
You got more.
Honestly, if
Starfire.
DC is looking for another Bat book to cancel, please cancel Red Hood and the Outlaws.
When we talked about this before, I would like Red Hood to have its own series be Red Hood. Now, I like the fact that.
Yeah, I mean, here's how a Red Hood series could work.
Mm-hmm.
You make it about Jason Todd as Red Hood, obviously.
Probably, yeah.
But you try to make Jason Todd in a way like DC's Punisher, in the sense that,
Well, he believes it's doing it good.
well, no, yes, but in the sense that Jason Todd as Red Hood and Batman, their relationship conflict could be similar to Punisher and Daredevil's.
But Captain America.
What?
Captain America also has issues with Punisher.
Well, Daredevil, it's more because they operate in the same city. Because Daredevil and Punisher operate in the same city and sometimes in the same area, even.
Yeah, sure.
They're more in conflict.
I
So
mean,
Daredevil believes more in law and order, that criminals should be brought to justice.
right.
Punisher believes that the system is broken, therefore criminals should all be put to death.
Right.
Red Hood, it's sort of, again, that could work in the sense of the conflict between Red Hood and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But in a lot of comics that depict Red Hood and Batman together, they try to play, and even when Batman isn't present, they try to play on Red Hood, Jason Todd's daddy issues
Yeah, unfortunately.
with
yeah.
Batman. They just
That's
push
that's
it
the
so
one thing
much.
That's the one thing I like about Red Hood and the Outlaws. They don't bring the whole Jason Todd Batman thing.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they
there
do.
There was a story in which Jason Todd wanted one of his memories to be erased.
Yeah,
in which
that
it
was,
was him being as Robin, and he got sick with the cold, and Batman and Bruce Wayne and Jason Todd had a father-son bonding.
Yeah, that
moment.
was after the Death of the Family thing, wasn't it?
No, it was sort of before, I think.
Yeah.
But even so, it's just So I think if they were to do that Red Hood solo series, it would try to it would have Jason Todd break off from Batman.
Right.
Heck,
And-
have like an opening storyline in which he's killing criminals in Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in a conflict with Batman. They fight, and Jason Todd's like, "I'm done with you," and then he leaves.
Yeah,
and
he
that's
Gotham.
it. He leaves Gotham, operates in a new city, and that's it.
And please, for the love of God, fix Starfire.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. I mean, it's not Starfire. I'm sorry to say this, but it's Horfire.
Yeah. So, with that being said, what character deserves his own series? Well, I'm glad it's happening in TV, but I also hope it happens in comics too.
Yeah.
James Gordon.
Yeah.
The guy, he is just wow.
Hasn't he had his own comic?
Maybe? I'm not sure. I mean, I know he was featured in Gotham Central, but not as a major. He was more or less like a recurring character.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy has been through a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's practically a saint. But as I said when I did about Batman Origins, I like how they make him not just a completely noble knight in shining armor, but also a more realistic human being with his own faults and desires that kind of may do good or bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
But with he was even placed in one of IGN's top 100 comic book heroes at, like, I think number 19.
Yeah.
Above other characters like I think above other characters like the Spectre and Rocketeer and Deadpool even and the Punisher. Yeah, he's up there.
He's very up there, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the list.
Yeah, so the fact that he's getting a TV show completely devoted to him.
Yep.
All I can do is applaud.
Absolutely.
All I can do is applaud for that because the way they had it, and the way that Gary Oldman, oh man, Gary Oldman was he was a breath of fresh air in the Dark Knight trilogy. Not to say that the Dark Knight trilogy was bad. No, it's really good. But Gary Oldman was one of the best highlights of the movies.
Yeah.
He's shown as always on the edge, always to the point, but he can also be understanding. But sometimes he can have his own faults too.
Yeah.
But he's like, he's almost as much of a force to be reckoned with as Batman is.
In a sense, yes, he is.
Yeah, he is a guy that does not take no for an answer. He's a guy that will not give up. He is awesome.
I would like more of the Batman villain to have their own series, just so we see more about them.
Yeah, again, we got the current Harley Quinn series going.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, Joker has received his own comic once or twice, but I kind of hope he gets his own ongoing again. Yeah, but again, it just depends on how they depict it.
I'm curious how they're going to bring Joker back in the future Batman after the events of Death of the Family.
Yeah, he loses his face again, and now the character Joker's daughter is wearing it.
Yeah.
So, what is he getting? Is he going to get a new face or what?
We don't know. We haven't seen him in forever.
So, well, from what I heard, there will be a follow-up to Death of the Family, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
But I do hope at one point Joker does get his own comic again.
Yeah, I do too.
Again, just depends on how they do it.
I haven't seen Joker's daughter being betrayed in the movie 2 yet, but...
Yeah. Now, there's two upcoming Batman spin-off books coming out. One's called Gotham Academy, and another's called Arkham Manor.
Arkham Manor sounds interesting.
From what I heard about Arkham Manor, it's about how Wayne Manor's been converted into a new Arkham Asylum.
Really?
That's one of the rumors I heard about it. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's gonna be really weird.
Yeah, so...
Like the actual manor or like a different manor?
I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I can see a series being about Arkham Asylum. At first, I thought it couldn't be done, but if they were able to make a comic devoted to the cops in Gotham be effective, then I think they could do the same thing with Arkham Manor.
Now, Gotham Academy is always going to be about the Gotham Police Department, which I look forward to.
No, actually, Gotham Academy, I think it's going to be about the school that Bruce Wayne is funding or something.
Weird. Okay.
I don't know how. I haven't heard too much about it, so I don't know how that's going to be done. But more power to him, I guess.
Are they still going to do that Super Agent Dick Grayson thing?
Oh yeah, Grayson. Yeah, I haven't read too much about it, but surprisingly, I heard good things.
Really?
Yeah, I hear good things about it. I mean, I thought it was questionable at first that they decided to cancel the Nightwing series and decide to launch a new series called Grayson. But
it's going to be called Grayson now?
Yeah, it's called Grayson.
Okay, that's good.
It's just simply called Grayson. And having him be as a super secret spy agent, I thought that was questionable at first, but from what I heard, it's good, and
Do we know who's working with him yet, or?
I don't know. I think he's working with a group that Batman was affiliated with at one point. I think he's working as an Argus agent, or maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's even a retired CIA agent being a consultant for the series.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So if it's got that, then it's got to be good, right?
I heard that his team was supposed to be somewhat the Justice League, and even the Legion of Doom did not like.
Wait, the group that Grayson's with?
Yes.
But apparently Batman was affiliated with. Right?
That's new to me, but Batman being associated with. But
I don't know, but in a way, I think that the Grayson series might be sort of like the Winter Soldier series. You know? It even kind of starts off. There's a lot of similarities in a way. Like both series start off from they spun off from a big event in which they both played a part in. Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes was being Captain America, and he gets killed in Fear Itself.
Right.
But after Fear Itself, it was revealed that he didn't die, and he got injected with the Super Soldier Serum, and now he's back to operating as Winter Soldier. But he wants to make sure that no one knows that he's alive again,
right.
so that he can operate in secret. Dick Grayson as Nightwing, he gets outed as Nightwing. Like, everyone knows who Nightwing really is.
Right.
And then he apparently gets killed, but comes back to life because Lex Luthor was able to restart his heart, because Dick Grayson's heart was tied to this machine where.
I remember, yeah.
What?
I remember. I read.
Yeah, and Forever Evil. Yeah. So his heart had to stop in order for the machine to not work, and then they got his heart working again, and then he's alive again.
Right.
And now he's operating as a secret agent in order to clear his name and make sure that no one thinks that he's still alive, at least not his enemies.
Well, actually, I'll talk about that after the show.
But yeah, again, I hear good things about it. So
has it came out yet? Is that why?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think I'm looking forward to Gotham.
I am too, definitely.
I mean, I understand that there's going to be a young Bruce Wayne in it, but I hope it's not going to focus too heavily on him becoming Batman, and more so on Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock fighting against the criminals of Gotham.
I think it will balance off.
I think it's going to be a good balance, right?
Yeah, it could be a very good balance. Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to do a Bruce Wayne TV show before, back in the '90s, but then it evolved into Smallville,
right?
Then they did the whole Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they kind of sort of brought this concept back, but also mixed it in. So it's mixing in early Batman. It's mixing in young Bruce Wayne with Gotham Central,
right?
And I like that. And I just hope it doesn't get canceled too soon by Fox, because that was a funny thing. When I heard it's going to be airing on the Fox network, I thought, oh boy,
it's going to be canceled like that.
It's going to be canceled like Firefly.
Exactly. There are something that I question about the Gotham show, though, like Poison Ivy's name.
Maybe it's an alias or a pun. Who knows?
I also am questioning how old Selena Kyle is compared to Bruce Wayne.
Well, they're both depicted as teenagers, judging from the previews I saw.
I thought Bruce Wayne was a kid, not a teenager.
I don't know. He's either a kid or something else.
Yeah.
Well, Selena Kyle, judging from what I saw in the previews of the show, looks to be around the same age as Bruce Wayne.
I hope so.
So, again, all the more to it, and I hope it's good.
I hope too.
And I hope it gets James Gordon his own comic too.
I hope so.
How he deals with being the head of the police department in Gotham, what it's like for him to be Batman's strongest supporter and ally.
Yeah.
And all the trials and tribulations he has to go through because of all that.
I would like Jim Gordon's series to be kind of like how he was in year one. That'd be perfect.
Well, that's sort of what they're going off with. That he's a young cop.
In the Gotham show, yeah.
Making the rise to making the rise in the police department, and he's partnered with Harvey Bullock, and Harvey tries to show him how bad Gotham is and what needs to be done in order to save it.
Right.
Which, yeah, from what I heard, yeah, Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock from the previous, he looks amazing.
He does.
And I'm glad that Harvey Bullock is in this.
They actually showed the for the plot episode for people who they just saw the screening at San Diego Comic Con.
Mhm.
They said it was fantastic.
Yeah, they said that Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock stole the show, basically. And there's also a new original character played by Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, called Fish Mooney.
Mhm.
The one thing I'm wondering is she from the comics or just simply created for the show?
I
think
know.
it was for the show.
I think it's for the show, but it sounds familiar to me.
Maybe, but more or less, it looks good,
Mhm.
and I hope it's something that lasts for a good long while.
I also do.
Please don't cancel it, Fox.
They also, I know it's kind of somewhat the same different, but they also showed the Flash plot, San Diego Comic Con too, and it was breathtaking.
Yeah, but yeah, so who knows what Bat character could get their own spinoff next. So
Yeah. Only time will tell.
until next time, thanks for watching and have a good day.